which is hard enough to believe in and of itself. But if you thought that the craziness was behind us, you were mistaken. Very, very mistaken. This article that I'm going to bring forth today is actually old. It goes back to 2019, but this article was written August 16th, 2023, and somehow even then it slipped by me, and I was definitely paying attention during that time. So there's a lot happening in and around the state of Maine that even people that are trying to pay attention, that are conscientious of their surroundings and are trying to stay on top of things, even individuals like me are still finding surprises. This one had me gooped and gagged. Like, my jaw hit the ground. Let me just read the headline. Maine governor wants to resettle 75,000 foreign-born migrants in Maine by 2029. 75 fucking thousand. This is part of her 10-year plan. This came out December 11th, 2019. I wasn't really paying attention, I'll admit. I was not paying attention to what was going on at the time. That number would have staggered me even then. The fact that this came out August 3rd and then was updated August 16th, 2023, and I still had no clue. I'm wondering how this got suppressed because I stay pretty up to date with everything. So, slid by. Okay, regardless, it did. We are now 5 years into her plan, going on 5 years, 4+ years into her plan of having 75,000 foreign-born migrants in Maine by 2029. Are you kidding me? Who gave you that right? Who said this was okay? Why? Why? No, we have homeless children. We have homeless vets. Until they are taken care of, we have no room for others. I am sorry, but that is the way it is. And I would understand if other places around the globe were the same way. Listen, we see that you're having troubles, but we're also having troubles on our own. So politely, we're going to ask you to not make our problems worse. Thank you very much. Nothing about you. There's maybe try and figure out your own problems in your own countries, in your own cities and states. And we will do the same in our cities and state. You cannot run from your problems. And so many people these days seem to be running from their problems with the expectations they can outrun them, which is so baffling to me, because on so many different children's poems, morality stories for little ones, you can figure out that you can't outrun your problems. So as whole families and neighbors and communities trying to upleave and go to other places, what's the hope? I don't get it. And we're going to get into this video right now where Governor Janet Mills is opening a new office, an office for new Americans. It's going to have 4 different people working the office, and it's going to have a 19-person board, and it's unknown how much money is going to be spent in this. I tried to look into how much money is going to be forked over into this. There's no estimate, but we're rolling forward with it. So before I say any more, let's just watch that video.
Governor Janet Mills was at American Roots in Westbrook today to unveil the plan to establish an Office of New Americans.
Our Ann Baldridge was there and gives us a look at how the office would help immigrants and asylum seekers who come to Maine.
Governor Mills and other Maine officials were here at American Roots today to enroll Maine as the 19th state to have an Office of New Americans. This unveiling of the plan comes after Mills signed an executive order last August. The office will not directly change federal restrictions on work permits, which on average could take up to a year to receive. Officials and advocates are hopeful that the services offered will be able to help new Mainers when they do receive that work permit through English education, workforce pathways, and other employer resources.
Getting people ready to work. And some other states I've read about have actually put people not as employees, but they've been giving them stipends for job preparation. And that could be something that is developed by this office, so that even if people aren't officially working, they're receiving stipends in order to get trained to work in the near future.
Pushing for better federal immigration policies, including expedited work authorization for asylum seekers. Deep need that I know our congressional delegation is pushing for as well, all of them.
Maine officials said that this will help today with boosting employment rates here in Maine. In Westbrook, Ann Baldridge.
Now, before I get into my crusty opinion, leave some comments down below. How did that video leave you feeling? Good inside? Did it make you feel as a constituent and a taxpayer like you're loved and cherished? Or did it leave you feeling like your money was being taken and spent on things that you don't necessarily want? Because that's how it felt to me. I mean, on top of Janet Mills barely able to get 3 damn words out without stuttering, without without backtracking, without having some reiteration to make it intelligible, a 12-second clip and she gets out 5 words. And you're like, okay, like, what was the point of that clip? It just showed that our governor looks like a dunce. And it's unfortunate. Future Drew cutting in here. I just wanted to bring up, while we were on the topic of illegal immigration, that Maine has $3.5 million initiative to house and assist illegal immigrants. Of course, I'm going to include all the links below, but it just is a further stab at homeless children and homeless veterans, homeless families, homeless Mainers. Where is that kind of support? Because with $3.5 million, what would that do to the homeless veterans? What would that do to homeless children? Because it might eradicate it. I mean, I've heard figures, and I'm not going to source them here. I've heard figures of what it would take to eradicate homelessness in the U.S. in general, and it is less than we are sending overseas to Ukraine. Might we keep that money and put it back to homeless citizens that could then contribute back to the society, back to the culture and the people they came from, therefore benefiting the whole and being an oscillating system that generates energy for itself? Or might we always just siphon off our best, our most, and all of it, essentially? I'm going to cut that here. I just wanted to talk about $3.5 million initiative. What else could we do with that $3.5 million? Go ahead and leave a comment down below. What else could we do with $3.5 million here in the state of Maine? If you're not from the state of Maine, use Maine as an example. What do you think $3.5 million could do? Leave comments down below. I talk to coworkers and friends, people online, I read reviews every single day. I just don't understand what the future looks like if we continue down this path, because it is not leading us in a good direction. I'm a hard-working Mainer, and my money is being taken from me and spent on people, 75,000 people by 2029. And there are teenagers down the street that can't afford a new winter jacket. And this is their home. They have no choice. They can't up and leave to somewhere else. Those people that are coming here, they have the choice to go somewhere else or not leave their homes at all. You cannot run from your problems. And it's just, we're getting to such a polarized point where before my opinion would have been like, okay, like we can make space, we can figure out how to make this work. Like American way is the best way, so that means that we can show the rest of the world and it can be adapted. Rome fell when it didn't properly switch from a republic to an empire, and it crumbled. And now we are trying to give the world the American dream before perfecting it, before we're outsourcing it when it can't be. It's the American dream for a reason, and there's a proper way to become American.
Governor Janet Mills was at American.
That had a mind of its own. And you can't call me xenophobic because I love other people. I cherish other cultures. I love learning other languages. I deeply enjoy traveling and seeing other cultures and ways of life and learning how things could be. But in those travels, I do not bring expectations. I do not bring my own internalized desires. And I do not project onto the society, culture, or people that I am with that they should be living a certain way that I think they should be living because of some notion I carried over with me. I left that all behind. My problem is that I don't think it's going to be that way. With 75,000 new immigrants coming to Maine, what does that do to a population of 1.3 million people? And how does that change things? Personally, I don't see it changing things for the better. And these arrogant dinosaurs that are on their way out due to their age are trying to preach it like it's Jesus incarnate. It's like, no. Why don't you let younger people that have a stake in the game actually start figuring out, deciding, and doing things for ourselves? Because honestly, Janet Mills, at 75 years old, you don't have a stake in the game like I do at 33 years old. It's just not fair that you're going to dictate how things are going to go by 2029 when you could be dead by 2029. And of course, I could be also, but the statistic is much higher in your area than in mine. It's not fair. And Angus King, at 80 years old and telling us he's going to rerun, that is not right. That is not right. And it is time for us, for people like you and me, to speak up, to use our voices, to be vocal, to stop the shenanigans, and to circle back around to what's important, which is freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Don't come for me, I won't come for you. Leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. Big government, don't come for me because we don't need a big government. Small government, only come for me when I call for you, not otherwise. Politicians, you are not career anymore. You are civil servants. You get paid as the average American. You get in and you get out. You go back to the communities that you came from and you live with the policies that you've enacted, and you live around the people that you forced it on. So you better do the right bidding. We can turn things around. It is so despairing sometimes to think that we are going in such a negative direction that we can't turn things around. And that's not true. It's not true. That is what the ultimate evil, there is evil in life. Ultimate evil wants us to believe that. But there is balance. We can have balance. There is good out there. If there's evil, there is good. I believe in a higher power. If I believe in a higher power, there's also some form of lower power. And so it comes to a point where each of us has to decide, who are we fighting for? The good guys or the bad guys? And if you're not fighting for the good guys, then you're fighting for the bad guys. And being complacent, it may seem like a neutral or a good thing, but tell that to people in Poland, the Germans that just sat by. Tell that to the Polish people. Well, I just kind of remained neutral. Tell that to the rest of the world, to blacks, to gays, to gypsies, and especially Jews. So you can't be complacent, and we're getting to a point in life where the cycles are coming back around and decisions have to be made, and you have to decide whose side you're on. I have more to go, but it's kind of on another train of thought, so I'm going to cut this video here, but I am going to have kind of a follow-up thought in the next video. Thank you, Bub, for sticking around, and I really would like your feedback. Engagement, especially in this kind of sphere, is important. Even if you disagree with me, we need discussion. We have to have dialogue. We have to have some back and forth. Because when I read news articles, they're presented in such a way, and you read the reviews, and they are in another way. And there's never any kind of crossover. And we need crossover. We need that dialogue. We need to have cohesion. And we need to unify now more than ever. So, Bub, let's try and unify. Let's try and come together. And whatever you can do today, try and unify, try to bring together. And I'll do the same. And we'll fight for a better tomorrow together.